This is the most searched slang word in Massachusetts this year. 6'7".
Can you do it again? Because you did.
6'7". Here's the new emerging slang for something that is terrible. It's buns.
Buns.
It's buns. He's buns. It's buns.
Buns.
So-
I thought you were going to say sub.
Yeah.
No, it's buns.
No, that's
Buns.
mid.
Buns. Buns. Buns.
Yeah.
6, 7. Yeah.
No, it's buns.
No, that's
Buns.
mid.
It's buns. Buns. It's buns.
Buns.
It's buns.
Can you do it again?
Buns.
Oh.
But see,
I thought you were going to say sub.
it's buns.
If you've been living under a rock, you might be unfamiliar with the 6'7" trend. Also, can I live under that rock with you? Things are getting weird out here. Basically, the trend is anytime someone says 6'7" or 67, kids either go
6'7".
6'7".
6'7".
or they flip out and go nuts.
6'7".
This has inspired a whole slew of reaction YouTube videos, TikToks, Instagrams, even news segments.
Well, if you have kids, you may have noticed some new lingo.
All right, but do you have any idea what they're actually saying? 6'7".
Wait, what does it even mean?
What does it mean?
The singer Natasha Bedingfield even started singing 6'7" at her shows. I wish that was the trend, singing it with a beautiful voice. Every time someone said 6'7", kids would be like... This meme has generated a number of dramatic reactions, everything from saying it's ruined the internet, to calling it the pinnacle of brain rot, to condemning it as a demonic ritual, because that always has to get thrown out there when there's some big new trend with kids. It's not just a silly meme, it's obviously a demonic ritual opening up a portal to hell.
6'7".
The consensus generally seems to be that 6'7", and Gen Alpha humor in general, represent some kind of new low point for society. Of all the kids these days moments in history, this is the kids these daysiest. But in this episode of my series, Talking Topics, I want to explore how accurate that really is. Look, I understand the kids these days sentiment. When I was a teenager, I thought my generation, the millennial generation, was more or less how youth culture would always look in the future. I felt so confident that I would never be shocked by the youths in the way that adults were shocked by us. I just thought those adults were relics of the past and we were the future. But then time went on and damn it, it happened to me. I became truly surprised by some of the things that kids these days were doing, like streaming video games. When I was a kid, if somebody was playing a video game and it wasn't you, that sucked. The only reason you would watch somebody play a video game was because you were waiting for your turn. Now there are people who want to watch other people play video games for hours. And some of these video game streamers make money. Not video game money like Mario bucks, real bucks, Gov bucks. That's what I call money, Gov bucks. In the past, the idea of anybody having a career playing video games was laughable. There's a famous Far Side comic from the 90s about that very thing. It used to be a joke, and now that's kind of the real world. My generation learned how to use technology back when all of it was complicated and difficult.
How the hell do you do this?
We were forged in the crucible of shitty user design, and as a result, we developed tech literacy. I thought that trend would continue, and the next generation would be the most tech literate generation ever. Instead, the opposite is happening. Tech literacy is on the decline. Young people are also partying less, and when they are partying, they're not dancing. And when they're not dancing, they're not drinking. And when they finish not drinking, they're not hooking up. Who would have predicted that young people would ever get less wild? If you had told me when I was a teenager that those things would come to pass, I would have told you you're crazy. And I would have spit on you, and kicked you in the stomach, and smashed my beer bottle on your head. I was a very troubled teenager. So now I've resigned myself to the fact that I have no idea what future generations are gonna be like. The next generation of kids could all start slithering on the ground like snakes instead of walking, and I'll just have to accept that. It's either that or I become one of those adults who's just angry at young people for everything they do. You damn kids and your Riz! But I'll tell you what, there is one thing about modern youth culture that doesn't surprise me, and that's the humor. Because I think we've been here before. 6'7", Skibidi Toilet, Smurf Cat, Ohio. I see all these adults reacting to this stuff like it's some brave new world of entertainment. And for people who were never tuned into internet culture, sure, that reaction kinda makes sense. But for people who grew up on the internet in the 2000s and 2010s, I'm like, man, how do you not get it? Don't you remember what the internet used to be like? A lot of adults accuse these memes of being nonsense.
I'm sorry, 6'7" is just, it's nonsense.
It doesn't make any sense. What's the joke? What's the point? It's nonsense. That's the point. Random nonsense is freaking hilarious when you're young. Babies laugh at nonsense. All you have to do is make a weird noise and they laugh. And nonsensical humor is not a new thing, especially on the internet. First of all, it wasn't even that long ago that Gen Z humor was the target of all the kids are so weird these days commentary. A lot of Gen Z have even prided themselves on having a sense of humor that's more surreal and bizarre than previous generations. Remember when that song What Does the Fox Say came out? I saw the same kind of bewildered responses to that song that 6'7" is receiving now. Adults didn't get it. They were like, what? This is just nonsense. They're just making weird noises? What's the point? And that was pretty recent, I think. Let's see, that song came out in, yeah, September 2013. That was only what, like 12 years ago. And before all the commentary about how weird Gen Z humor was, there was commentary about how weird millennial humor was. Man, I thought for sure, of all people, that millennials and Gen X who grew up on the internet in the 2000s would understand the appeal of nonsense comedy. These new memes are just the modern day equivalent of early internet memes like all your base are belong to us.
All your base are belong to us.
Oh, young people are repeating some stupid crap they heard on the internet? Like that hasn't always been happening?
And now a story that'll make no sense whatsoever. There's a new phrase creeping into our language from the internet, and it goes like this. All your base are belong to us.
Dude, the internet was flooded with this kind of content in the old days. A banana dancing to a song called Peanut Butter Jelly Time, a bunch of badgers dancing to a song that says badger over and over, a cat saying Icon has cheeseburger, YouTube poop, which was a whole genre of content started in the 2000s made with the express purpose of being bizarre nonsense.
You must.
But now I see a bunch of adults in their 20s, 30s, 40s acting like they've never seen anything like this. What? Skibidi toilet 6'7"? What's the point? What does it mean? What does this mean? Don't you guys remember how much of the old internet was stupid nonsense and how popular it was? I know some of you mother effers used to watch this stuff. Why do so many adults forget what things were actually like when they were kids? Is there like some little troll going around throwing rocks at people's heads and giving them amnesia?
You'll forget now.
Oh, why are kids so weird these days? I've never seen anything like it. Again, for someone who didn't grow up in the milieu of bizarre internet culture, I get how this might all feel new and strange. But otherwise, this should be familiar territory. Part of it might also be that people just view things from their youth through rose-tinted glasses. Some people do remember all that old internet stuff, but they don't remember how dumb it really was. Was old internet humor really so much different from today? Or were you just 12? Oh dude, remember that video? That was the funniest internet video ever. Was it? Was it? Was it? Or were you 12? Now that's fine if that's the case. There are things I hold dear because of how funny I thought they were when I was a kid, but I recognize that things generally were funnier to me when I was young. And although the internet turbocharged nonsense comedy, I think it existed before that too. Monty Python's TV show was huge in the 70s, and random absurdity was their whole shtick.
I have with me in the studio tonight Raymond Luxury Yacht.
No, it's spelt Raymond Luxury Yacht, but it's pronounced Throat Wobbler Mangrove.
One of the most famous jokes of all time is, guess what? Chicken butt. I don't know when that joke started, but I heard it as a kid in the 90s, so I'm sure it's been around since way before that. Maybe it's been around since prehistoric times, who knows? If that joke started today and went viral, there would be a bunch of commentary videos and news segments about that too. There's a popular new trend catching on with kids, and you'll never guess what it is. Now, some go so far as to say that these new memes are not simply nonsensical, they're brain rot. Brain rot that's ruining the minds of children. And yeah, they are brain rot, but so what? Brain rot is not new. As we've established, a lot of the most popular internet content from the 2000s was garbage nonsense. But even before the internet was everywhere, it was TV that was accused of rotting our brains. The notion of some kids' entertainment being brain rot has been around for a while.
Just in time for Dunce Patrol.
Well, duh. Duh? Well, duh.
Oh. That show is so dumb.
And the fears around brain rot aren't totally off base. Spending large amounts of time in front of a TV probably is bad for your mental development. I watched a lot of TV as a kid, and now I know more quotes from SpongeBob than quotes from classic literature. And the only reason I know some of those quotes from classic literature is because they were taught to me by a talking dog on TV.
Oh, thinks thou we shall ever meet again?
I doubt it not. Adieu.
But the core issue, in my opinion, is the amount of brain rot that's consumed. If kids are watching hours and hours of brain rot every day, then yeah, that's bad. But a lot of commentary about brain rot criticizes the mere existence or popularity of it. I think in moderation, it's pretty harmless, and I would argue even good for you. There's value in turning off your brain occasionally. Not everything we consume has to be smart or intellectually stimulating. I think there's a place in intelligent society for brain rot. In fact, you know what else is brain rot? Dreams! Your brain plays dumbass nonsense for several hours every night in order to recuperate. Humans need brain rot in order to function. Perhaps the brain must first rot before it can grow. Now, I don't know if that logic really makes sense, but it sounded smart when I first thought of it. And if we're being real here, brain rot isn't just a kid's thing. There's adult brain rot too, and some of it's really popular. I Think You Should Leave came out a few years ago, and it's one of the biggest comedies in years. Look, I like it a lot, but that show is stupid as hell, man. In the 2000s, Adult Swim came onto the scene and made a whole programming block for stupid adult comedy, including a show that was literally about a talking ass. In the 90s, Beavis and Butthead was so popular that Rolling Stone described it as the voice of a generation. And I get that there's more to these shows than just being stupid and random. There's an art to making good, dumb comedy. But still, this isn't exactly highbrow entertainment.
I am Cornholio. I need TV for my bunghole.
I'm not saying these shows are literally on the same level as Gen Alpha internet memes, but they're also not worlds apart. I just feel like adults who have enjoyed this kind of entertainment shouldn't be too quick to criticize the brain rot that kids are consuming nowadays. And I'm not being a hater here, I like stupid humor too. Sometimes it makes me laugh harder than anything. There was one night a few years ago that I could not stop laughing at this gif of a guy eating cotton candy in reverse. I'm not exaggerating when I say I laughed for 2 straight minutes at this gif as it played over and over. And it's moments like that that make me stop and wonder, am I actually a moron? To some extent, I believe in letting young people have their own culture, as long as they're not doing anything destructive or toxic. I know some kids have used the 6-7 thing as an excuse to be disruptive in the classroom. I don't co-sign on that kind of behavior, obviously.
How much are you hearing 6-7 in your classroom?
All day. Every day. You are no longer allowed to say, what number do you think I'm going to say?
6-7.
But insofar as kids are just enjoying something, I think it's okay. I never liked it when adults felt the need to crap on every new thing young people were into. This new music sucks. These new movies suck. This humor doesn't make sense. Yeah, well, maybe it's not for you, you know? I think there's a legitimate discussion to be had about the impacts of mass media, especially the internet. I'm not saying it's all baseless fear-mongering, but nonsensical comedy and brain rot have both been around for a long time. I don't believe they're inherently problematic or a harbinger of society's downfall. Now, the decline in literacy, critical thinking, and test scores, that's a bad sign. I don't disagree with the claims that humanity may be undergoing a mass dumbing event, but in my opinion, the popularity of nonsensical and stupid comedy is not in itself a symptom or a cause. But hey, if you do feel like you've been consuming too much brain rot recently, the first step in unrotting your brain is hitting the subscribe button and joining my clubhouse. We can all unrot together. Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. You know why I say that joke? Because I want to.